morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo First in Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi, Yerushalyim, HaKodesh, located in the Beit Knesset of Yeshiva on Rehov Zikron Yaakov number 6, not too far from the central bus station, so you can walk easily from there. The bus, drive if you have your own car. There's plenty of parking across the street in general. And if you come to the bus start, please join us. We'd like to help you reach your visit to Yerushalyim with as much Torah as possible. We're learning Pirkei Avos here in our first year. The first parak, the sixth Mishnah there. Yeshua ben Prachia ben Netai Arbeili Kibu Mehem. Yeshua ben Prachia Omer also called Rav. You should make yourself a Rav. Respond to the Chachaver and acquire for yourself a friend. You should judge everybody favorably. So let's just repeat the. We're actually going to go to with Rabbeinu Yonah. That's the fourth citation here in the sheet we have in front of us. Who'd like to begin to read today?
I'll want to.
Yeah. Okay, Rabbeinu Yonah.
Yeshua ben Prachia Omer Asa lecha Rav. But Yeshua ben Prachia says, make for yourself a Rav. Ekana lecha chaver, acquire for yourself a friend. She'afilu ata yodea, even if you know, kimoso, like him, asa oso, make him Rav.
Aleph.
What?
Rav Aleph.
On yourself. Even if you know him, you still have to make him a Rav on yourself.
And this is not just knowing him, it's even if you know as much as he does. Meaning, in terms of general knowledge, right? Talking about general Torah knowledge here, right? Even if you know, like, say, the same amount, more or less, in terms of understanding and wisdom, you're more or less at the same par as this other person, right? Nevertheless, right? Also Rav Alech, you should make him a Rav over you. And this is going to be hesber to what we learned a little bit in the Rambam. Rambam, if you go back to the third citation, maybe just want to read that for us. We discussed this a bit yesterday.
Afilu lo haya roi lios lecha Rav, even if he's not appropriate to be your rabbi. Aval, but shimahu l'Rav ad she'timasor lo halimud. Nevertheless, you should learn from him what he has to teach you. The toshav, and add for yourself hakama. To achieve. And achieve for yourself wisdom.
So let's start with that at this point.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
If the person knows the same as you, is on your level, wouldn't you be considered a friend rather than a Rav?
True. Exactly. That's the point. Nevertheless, even though that in fact, in terms of if you're just looking at the status of your knowledge, right? So it's incumbent upon, and you know the same as knowledge, it's incumbent upon you to make that person a Rav for you. Because here we're not, Rabbeinu Yonah is introducing an important point. The point of having a Rav is not necessary to simply to have a peer, right, in terms of exchange of information. The aspect of having a Rav upon a person is essential for the transmission of Torah. Okay, we'll just explain more about that hopefully later today. Right? So there's peers, and you have such a thing at the time of the Gemara, it's even consistent, not mistake, what's called a Talmud Chaver. The Talmud, we have classic examples, Reish Lakish and Rav Yochanan. Reish Lakish originally was someone who had learned, right? He went off to Derek, became Rosh of the student, became head of the Mafia. Right? And one day he saw Rabbi Yochanan, who was like the Gadol Ador, bathing in the Yarden, Yeah, and Shlokish saw him thinking that Rabbi Yochanan was very beautiful. Very beautiful. He explains he came from a family which was known for its great beauty. He was very beautiful, handsome. And Reish Lakish, thinking he was a woman, jumped into the yard there to take care of what you do with a nice-looking woman, right? Apparently, right? So discovering that he was a Rabbi Yochanan man, he said, Rabbi Yochanan, your beauty should be for women. Right? You got this great handsomeness about you. That's something that women should have. And Rabbi Yochanan said back to Reish Lakish, right, your koyach, because he took a tremendous leap from the bank into your koyach should be for Torah. Yeah? So, and he said more than that. He says, you know what? If you decide to do tshuva and devote yourself to Torah, I'll give you my sister as a wife.
Who's also pretty.
Yeah, so I think he said he's even more pretty than himself, right? So Reish Lakish agreed, right? So he became a Talmud of Rabbi Yochanan, and as time went on, he recharged himself with Torah, and became a Talmud Chover, a disciple who was a colleague. A disciple who becomes a colleague. He became at the same level of wisdom, understanding, and knowledge as Rabbi Yochanan himself. And that's became a Talmud Chover. Right? So you have that. And it happens many times. You have a Talmud who's sometimes learns from a Rav, and he may be exceptionally gifted, and he makes tremendous progress, and he can come and be equal to the Rav.
Didn't we say that the Rav knew something specific, and that was the Chachma that he transferred? Let's say two people are equal in knowledge, but one person has a specific area of expertise,
Right.
and so that's where he makes him a Rav because he acquired that specific. So is that a necessary requirement, or they can be equal and not learn from each other?
Oh, so now we see from Rabbeinu, remember, you see the Rabbeinu, that Alpha Pisha ain't a word, so this Rabbeinu says, right, Afilu Osu Ata Yudea Kamosai, Osu Ravalecha. Even if you know, even if you're equal in knowledge, nevertheless, for your mitzvah, because you're being commanded over here, right? You're being commanded that Yeshua ben Parachia Omer Asakala a Rav. You should make for yourself a Rav. You're commanded to have a Rav. People say,
but shouldn't you find a Rav that knows more than you?
no. So
That's all my thought.
right. So in general, one of the main characteristics and requirements of a Rav is that he knows more than you. But maybe you're in a situation where that's not possible. Maybe there's someone who knows, at least as much as you, right? So it's still incumbent upon you to make a person, and that person who's at least equal to you, to make him a Rav over yourself. And we'll see why. He's going to explain what the advantages of that, what the necessities of that are.
So we're saying that every person should have a Rav.
Yes.
And what the qualifications, what the learning, all those things will
hopefully we can try and get some understanding what the qualifications. As I mentioned yesterday, what I was told is very good. I mean, basic qualifications is that he knows more than you. But as we see in the video, that may not always be possible. He knows more than you. He's more experienced than you. He's older than you, and in your best interest in mind, right? So if those three criteria are met, so you should be able to make him a Rav, and try and understand the basic reasons why you should have it. What's so important to have a Rav? Why is that a necessity? Why should he have a Chavir? I'll go through life on my own, right?
I'm alone.
He's got a wife. Me and my wife blaze our own trail. Some people are pioneers, blaze our own trail. So see what's so important about having a Rav, what's so important about having a Chaver, what's the difference between the two?
We're not recommending that type of behavior. Blaze your own trail.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's a Daniel Boone, even though his name is Daniel, and Davy Crockett, even though his name is Davy, right? The Davy Crockett, I'm not really Jewish, but they have Jewish names, but that's not the way we go. way Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu, he was on the opposite side of the river. He was against the whole world, right? Because the whole world was filled with the Avodah Zarah to come. So he had no one to make a rock for. Except in fact, Chazal mentioned that he went to learn by Noah for 40 years. He learned by Noah for 40 years. To learn Chokmas Hashem, Musar. To learn, I think the Lashon of the Medrash is to learn Musar Hashem, the Musar Hashem.
He didn't learn exception of things.
No, it was over and done with. Hashem made a promise not to make another model.
So we didn't do it. It's not an activity.
Now we know it looks like
Maisa Shem.
let's see a little bit more than being doing.
It's very important to have a friend, right?
Both things, you have to have Rob, you have to have a friend, right?
Because when a man merits
Maybe like it's privilege. It's privilege, right? He has a privilege. A person has a privilege.
what he learns, the rabbi from his rabbi, yoter minah, more from what shadam lomed, that a man learns me'atzmo from himself.
Right, that's a mistake. He remembers. Sorry, he's not zachar, he's zoicher. He remembers, right? The Nesha Adam Zoicher, he remembers Mash Lomid Merabo, Yosim and Mash Adam Lomid Masma. A person remembers more from what he learns from his Rab than from what he learns from himself.
The statement that was making,
Yes.
is that accurate?
I mean, the only is a Rishon, yes, of course it's accurate.
That's what it said.
That's what I'm saying.
And further, when Pa'amim, sometimes Yavin,
Understand.
to understand Hadavar, something, Yoter, more Mimenu than himself. The Nimtza, and we find Melamdo, his teaching, Vafilu, and even if Nehem, two of them, Shavian, are equal, B'chachma, in wisdom.
Okay, so let's just recap the Rebbeinu Yonah. Rebbeinu Yonah is saying that also Rav, even in a situation where the person knows as much as the other person, nevertheless, you should make a person a Rav upon you. First of all, because the person is going to remember better what he learns from the Rav more than what he's going to learn on his own. That's number one. And also, since there are some times that a person is going to even understand more from him, from the Rav, and then so he's going to be able to learn from the Rav, even if both of them are Shavah B'Chachma. Right? This is nevertheless. This is not what we're talking about having a perus, right? You're having you make this person a Rav. There's a certain type of understanding that you have to make yourself a Rav in order to have the transfer of Chachma properly, and that is most optimally done when you have a Rav and a Talmud relationship.
And what about a chaver?
We'll get to the Chaver. We haven't got the Chaver yet. You have to have a Rabbi, you have to have a Chaver. We'll get to the Chaver. There it says you should claim a Chaver. You should acquire a Chaver. We'll get to that too, Mitzvah.
There's something inconsistent there.
Yeah.
Is they both have a Shavah B'Chachma.
Right.
If you're both Shavah B'Chachma, how would they learn from somebody who know exactly what you
So, first of all, Chachma is different than Yediyas. Yediyas is knowing information, knowing facts and information, right? So, and again, I'm not sure. Like, let's say, for example, the time of the Gemara, when everyone had to know things about that. So both of them knew Mishnah, the whole from start to beginning. They both knew Mishnah about that, right? So in the plain fact of the matter, right? They have the basic same amount of information at their hand, right? Nevertheless, no two people analyze the same information in the same way. It's always going to be understood, each person according to his, whatever makes him tick, whatever his makeup is. Yeah. So you can gain from another person's, the other viewpoint is very important. Now that's many times important when you're dealing with the chavrusa. But the fact that you're making this person a rav over you, you're deferring to his viewpoint. You're submitting to his viewpoint. Meaning you're batal. It's like the same type of a situation. Batal ritzonka. You should mevatel yadas. You should be submissive and negate your own understanding, your own willingness, your own desires for the sake of somebody else, or for the sake of understanding what the other person has to say, right? Which is not so easy, but it's something which needs to be done.
That's what I think Rabbi Akiva's 24,000 Talmidim didn't have that ability. That's the take of why they had the trouble.
Have to think about that. That's a lot of inquiry. You have to really understand that well. And then hopefully this is now going to help us understand a little bit more what the Rambam was saying. That the Rambam said, just to recap that, if you know you're royally Yosef Rav, even this person's not really fit to be for you a Rav. So it could be, as Rabbeinu Yonah saying, that they're equal since you're both equal in knowledge and Chachma, right? So that's not really the main requirement being fulfilled for a Rav. Rav should have a lot more understanding and wisdom than you. Right, because sometimes it's not always possible to find it. Nevertheless, right, you can always learn from him. If Chazal say, right, you can learn from everybody, right? Right, it says Yerusha. Ben Zoma Omer, this is the beginning of the fourth parak in Avos. We get to it in Hashem. Ben Zoma Omer, Ezo Chacham, who's a Chacham, who's a wise person? How long we call on them? He learns from everybody. As brings Shener Mar, brings a pasuk. Kol Lamdai his Kalti, Yerusacha Shisicha. That's a proof that you can learn from everybody. Is my conversation, is my discourse. Right. So it's possible to learn from everybody, right? But again, on a constant basis, a person having a Rav, that's like a constant exchange, a constant intercourse, a constant dialogue between them, between the Rav and the Talmud, right? The person Malami Mikol Adam, that's not necessarily going to be at every particular point and opportunity, right? That there's a halakha in Hilchos Tisha B'Av.
Some people have a hard time making friends. They just try, but they haven't.
That's why it says koine l'po. You have to acquire. You have to. Even if you have to spend money to get this guy. Take him out to lunch. You give him a.
Is there a person we call Tommy Dai Normality?
Yes.
So that would be the opposite of what we're just discussing. Not that you should acquire knowledge from your Rebbe. Now we're saying the Rebbe also acquires knowledge. When I give it the Bar Torah in the shul, right. I acquire more deeper understanding to share it with the Talmud. So the Shvet said that there's no conflict over here.
I mean, the basic thing is you could, first of all, a person who's a chacham, he can learn from everybody. Right? There's no, everybody has something to learn. Well, you can even learn from Russia, not to do these things. Right? So, but your attitude should be that you're gonna
Open-minded.
exactly open-eyed, open-minded, and you're gonna try and make the most of every experience to see that what can I learn from this person?
But
Hopefully
how come
good things.
Hashem created so many people who are not follow that path?
Really, a lot of people that don't follow that.
That's what I find.
Yeah,
A lot of people are very set in their ways, very
closed-minded.
cold-minded. Maybe you never met anybody like that in your life? Or you're indeed fortunate.
Let me ask you, though, do you find those people to be successful
What?
in general?
Some yes, some no.
Okay. Yeah.
We know bad guys are sometimes successful.
So that's
That's a classic shayla.
classic shame. What was make this a second? And here, so maybe you want to read this whole look. I'm sorry for you. I don't know if we have any extra copies. This is Hilchos Tisha B'Av. Yeah. Tov Kuf Nun Daled, Yud Beis. Have it there, Yud Beis there. Let me see if I can get one more. I'm going to try and explain it well in Hashem.
You shouldn't worry Yud Beis?
No, the Mechaber. Mechaber, Yosef Cairo is the Tov Kuf Nun Beis. Tov Kuf Nun Beis. Listen to this amazing halacha. Tov Kuf Nun Beis. Sif Yud Beis. So I think Tov Kuf Nun. What's going on here? Tov Kuf Nun Daled. Excuse me. Tov Kuf Nun Daled. You have it there, Yisrael?
Yeah.
Good days. Go ahead. Let's loud and clear. Let us all hear this Torah.
Labam and Aderech, right?
No, Ahoylech Mekabel, Yud Beis.
Holech lehekabel pnei rabbi.
A person is going on Tisha B'Av, right? It's on Tisha B'Av, right? And he wants to go
To greet them.
to read his Rabbi. He's going to read, face to face his Rebbe, his Rabbi. Oh,
Or maybe his father.
wants to meet his father,
Or Misha Gadol Mimenu.
or someone who's greater than him. Whether it's greater in wisdom, in age, or he has some person who's worthy of his respect.
Or letzorach a mitzvah, or for a mitzvah of a mitzvah.
Right, he's going to do some kind of a mitzvah. These are all three things we mentioned before. A mitzvah, we'll see in the Mishnah. He explains what's involved with the mitzvah here. So he's crossing the hills and valleys, right, on Tisha B'Av, and lo and behold, what comes across his path?
Oivel b'mayim at Tzivara.
He can cross the water. Let's say there's a canal. Let's say there's a river, a stream, right, in his path, right? No bridge to cross over. It's Tisha B'Av. So he knows he can't go bathing on Tisha B'Av.
Did he go up to his neck?
Go up to his neck in the water, right, into the stream.
But he can't open his mouth.
No drinking.
No drinking.
No drinking.
When you're up to your neck, you have to be careful. This could be wave and it could be water could penetrate.
And you have to be careful when you're walking past the sprinkler systems on Tisha B'Av also. Right? They don't have them too much in Eretz Israel, but in America they still have sprinkler systems.
Yes. That's why they irrigate the lawns. Why they have lawns and spend so much money on water for grass. Now there are places like in Arizona where they have sand and rocks as decoration, which is less stressful on the environment.
Right. But it puts out the gardeners from work.
So the Mexicans have
Remember why they didn't go for the machine matzahs originally? You told me this many
That's right.
times.
For the Amonas who waited the whole year to make the machine. But only the Hasidic rabbis knew that, not the literature. and not to get yekes. The yekes was working straight for machine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what's the Haskell here, but that's not
We're not going with that. So he can cross the stream up to the neck in water. It's Tisha B'Av. He's not supposed to bathe, right? Ve'enoi, go ahead yourself, finish it up.
Ve'enoi Choshesh.
We're not. You don't have to be concerned, right?
suspect.
Right. V'chein b'chazor mutter. And likewise, when he's coming back, it's also he can go. And the chiddush, the bigger chiddush, is when he's coming back. What's the mitzvah from coming back?
Why should he be able to do that coming back?
Also, you know very well the famous tshuva of Rav Moshe Zatzal, Tsama.
I don't know, I was thinking exactly the same thing.
This is what Torah is all about. You learn to think the same way.
You go to save somebody's life and you take them to the hospital in Queens, and now why should you be able to go back on Shabbos, Machal Shabbos? You're not saving his life.
Right.
Okay, so Rav Moshe came up with a chiddush, which was brilliant. The next guy who needs Hatzala, if you're stuck in the hospital, his life will be in jeopardy. So he was matir going back. But also, since I'm involved in Queens and the Erev, he said if you have an Erev at the hospital, it lessens the carrying of instruments and other things. So an Erev made, people don't know, an Erev in a community in Los Angeles, I'm sure makes the hospital a little easier to function.
So you're working on your speech, you're working on your speech for the event. I'm sorry.
First, I got to put the event together, and then the speech will come. And I'm also I'm working on a matana. People who are volunteering to speak and to give it for Torah. This should be hakar satov, saying thank you. And this is a very funny thing. Some people like to get plaques.
Yeah.
To me, a plaque is a useless thing. So you have a whole wall full of plaques. It makes you feel good. So when I'm involved in this project, I give a becha. Becha, which is useful. A silver cup.
Nice.
You buy it in business, or have it, you get a good deal. Okay. But you have to engrave it. And every os, this is a good Muslim hospital, every os is a sheker. So what do you write on that? So I wrote a draft with appreciation, and then the date, few gods ever. No, so all my advisors in them. But with appreciation is shvach, much appreciation. Okay, that was the phrase. Then why put the date? Should put down 40 years. Kew Gardens era. I was going to abbreviate Kew Gardens to save money. My wife didn't know. KG, I think it's some kind of a chicken company or something. That's right, Kew Gardens era. So every little thing you have to. Musa Haskell, every letter costs money when you go to engrave on silver. So surely every letter that comes out of your mouth that is Torah and Emes is very important, and it gives you credits upstairs.
Let's take a look at the Mishnah Berurah here. Mishnah Berurah says, now you're going to Makabel Pnei Rabban on Tisha B'Av.
Yeah. You said that he has a heter to go through the water on Tisha B'Av because he's going somewhere.
Yes.
Where's he going?
He's going to visit his Rav, or his father, or someone who's worthy of his respect.
Yeah.
Right? So, the Mishnah Berurah says as follows, that he's going to Makabel Pnei Rabbo. Afilu b'choil, even if Tisha B'Av comes out on a weekday, right? You shouldn't think that it's only a mitzvah to visit your Rav on Shabbos, right? It's a mitzvah to visit your Rav on Shabbos. Sometimes Tisha B'Av can come out on Shabbos, right? But even if Tisha B'Av comes out on the weekday, the chuyuva leker, the kabel panei b'arav b'choil, there's no specific obligation to receive and greet your Rav on the weekdays. Mikol makom mitzvah ika. Nevertheless, there is a mitzvah. What's the mitzvah? Why? Shemei yishma mimenu eze divrei Torah. It could be, maybe you hear from him some kind of divrei Torah. Right? But dafke Talmud holik etzul Rav. This is specifically if a Talmud is going to visit his Rav. Well, let's get the opposite way. Let's say the Leilek L'Rav Etzel Talmud. Let's say the Rav, for some reason, he has to speak to the Talmud, right? He knows the Talmud has a very good memory, and he remembers the Rav was he had said something very important, and he wants to go to the Talmud to have the Talmud remind him of what he had said. Just for example, Lo Hatiru Ba'avur B'mayim. They did not allow that the Rav should pass through the water on the way to visit the Talmud. She'im Yitztarach Lo Talmudoi Yeleku Etzel Rebbe. Because why? Because the Talmud, if the Rav, right, needs him, the Talmud should know. Oh, right, very nice. Thank you very much. Okay. Cheesecake today. Look at that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but Chalavi is 50, and I think the Shakur is 50.
Yeah.
So it's a question.
So, because maybe he's going to hear from him some good Torah, right? V'kein sh'shneihem shavim. Also, if they're both equal, this is relevant to our Rabbeinu Yonah. If both of them are equal, right? It's also usher. That's also usher. That's a very the mice is a bit of a chiddush because here we're seeing if they're equal, you should still make him a rav. So why can't you go into the water to visit someone who you made for yourself a rav? Let's say you made him a rav. You made him a rav, meaning you're not obligated to makabel him either on Shabbos or Yom Tov or even in the weekday, but they're both equal. Why should that be shadul? It's nice way both ways awesome. Don't know. That's bothersome. That's
I have a question.
Yeah.
Every time I go to a bus and I'm going to buy from Blue, there's a sign that says Lifnei Sefer Pakim on the first 4 seats. Is that a minute? Is it a mitzvah? Is it a nice practice of the bus companies?
Well,
what they say, but where's that in the Gemara or something?
I think if the Torah says you say good time. Right,
So
but doesn't say.
practice-
But after he comes in, you can sit down again. No one tells you have to move the spot. You don't have to give him your chair.
I think that's what the bus company wants, that these seats will be reserved for older people. And the young kid is sitting there, he knows by himself, he won't move, that's all.
Well,
I've experienced it.
That's maybe what people do, but that's not what the pasuk is telling you. Is that
So
what the
just telling
pasuk?
me you should just stand up and then sit back down?
Keep your seats. I'm sure there are other interpretations.
This doesn't sound very ethical.
Ethical? What's the ethics have to do?
An old man comes in with a cane
He's
and
old and
Even if you're young people, let's say you have a 14-year-old that is handicapped. You wouldn't get up and give him a chair. You tell them walk to the back of the
I would
bus.
think so.
Okay, so you don't need the Torah to tell you that. That's Torah. Their inheritance is told in the Torah, right? So you don't have to quote a pasuk from the Torah.
so why the bus company, which is basically a Chiloni establishment, put up one of these signs? Is that?
Well, let's see. We're supposed to don the kol and lachaf schus.
Yeah, we just
So we just learned that. So let's try and put that into action.
So they know that this is an age-old principle, minhag, practice, and in the Jewish country, they feel that's the right thing to do. That's giving the done.
But you know, according, if I'm not mistaken, the Rambam and others, that if you do something that says in the Torah, you do it something because it's ethical, right?
You lose it. So
You lose it. You have to do it because it's a command from the Kodesh Baruch.
Wait, I'm in trouble.
You can always change. You're never in trouble.
I'm in trouble. I do so many things because they're ethical.
Could
Could
it be both?
What? No, they're definitely.
Hashem commands us to do it, that's why we do it. But also, they're kind of...
Look, they're also, it's very nice. I mean, it's also, there's not necessarily a contradiction, but our obligation to do it is because Hashem commanded us, even if it doesn't make sense to us, even if it doesn't seem ethical to us, right?
If you do something because it's ethical, then you're acting out of ahava. If you do something because it's a command in the Torah, then you're acting out of yira.
Well, I don't know. Our ethics was more you're acting intellectually. If it sounds intellectually proper for you, what was ethical in communist Russia was not ethical in democratic United States, right? How can you steal from the people and dare you work for yourself and not share your profits with Mother Russia? How can you dare do that? That's not ethical. It's even the capital effects. Send you to Siberia and you'll never come back.
I'm reading a sefer that my grandmother had, Rabbi Bender, two worlds. It's called sefer came about 10 years ago. About Rabbi Bender.
I think you know the name. Yeah.
He's the one who's the Rosh Yeshiva in Far Rockaway.
Yeah.
He has a yeshiva with 2,000 Talmidim. Oh, it's very interesting, which I recently learned. When he started in Far Rockaway, say 25 years ago, he had a small yeshiva. And there was a Gavir who had a disabled child. And no yeshiva in Queens, when you take a disabled child, because either they didn't have the capacity, they didn't have the teachers, or they didn't want to have them with other classmates. Rabbi Bender opened up a special class for this little kid.
That was probably before federal and state funding for these things too.
Okay. And this person gives every year millions of dollars because this is the only bug that had Rahman was with that. So one little thing that he did, because he felt it was an ethical thing to do, brought him all this benefit. That's the way the Amish stuff works.
Well, no, I wouldn't say he's obligated to everybody. You have to teach anybody Torah.
What about if it doesn't? Rosh Yeshivas who refuse to take them?
I don't know. Ask them. I don't know.
Well, apparently they didn't see the same goal, issue, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, in terms of the chiv to teach, you're obligated to teach everybody.
Yeah, but they could say we don't have the class.
Yeah.
When it comes to excuses, they have a whole list of why they should do that. In fact, I find very often when I want to accomplish something and a certain project that I go to people, instead of being supportive and saying how they can help, they'll give you 10 reasons why it's not going to be successful. So that's you learn from everybody. But you learn from some people only the negative things. I don't know for that knowledge.
I think you may remember you probably were alive when Theodore Roosevelt was the president of the United States.
The Rough Riders in 1912
Before your time. So he said it's quoted. I think I'm not sure the accurate quote. He quotes. They quote him as saying, "Criticism without advice is just whining."
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
Well, he said something about carrying a big stick. What was that?
Yeah, walks over the carry big stick.
I like that. Criticism without advice is wine.
But there are a lot of people who like to work.
Yeah, so then whines to somebody else. I'm getting something done.
But my understanding is, if you spend your time doing things, you will accomplish things. Whining doesn't really accomplish, doesn't really benefit.
Save it for prayer. You want to wine for prayer food? Or you have to pray for it. I'm trying to get something done here. You don't think it's right, you come up with a plan B. Maybe you got a point. Listen to me.
It's amazing how Hashem has created certain people who will never support anything, will never accomplish anything, and they spend all their time being food. They spend the same co-op doing things. The same thing, there are people, when it comes to violating the law, bending the rules, business, taxes, whatever, sometimes it's good to steal, they will use that same energy on positive things, they will accomplish it much more. Still, they don't have the ability or
the Yeshiva is helping out. Yeah, he's really good. The Yeshiva is very good.
This, This symbol,
So that's the shoe, right?
that's when you point your finger at somebody else, you have three fingers pointing back at yourself.
That's nice. I never heard that.
Okay, we'll stop here temporarily and continue on in a few minutes with the Shir and Mishnah Brewer.